So, the U.S. women's national team crashed out in the round of 16 in the Women's World Cup yesterday, losing in absolute disgrace to Sweden on penalty kicks after a scoreless draw in the World Cup. And yes, I, like many other Americans, are happy about it. The last couple of Women's World Cups, I was Team USA all the way. Well, I mean, at least for the first one anyway, right? The second World Cup was a little harder to watch because I found myself kind of secretly rooting for the Dutch ladies in the 2019 World Cup finals. But when Team USA won, I was still happy for our ladies. They were Americans after all. But their antics before, during, and after that 2019 kind of left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Well, 4 years later, the U.S. women's national team returned as heavy favorites to win the 2023 Women's World Cup, but this time it was a little different for me. And the straw that broke the camel's back was this ad that I saw about a month and a half ago. Take a look.
This precision with style. Good luck with that.
Now, outside of the 85 Bears and that awful Super Bowl shuffle, I don't think I have ever seen a team as cocky and as arrogant as this year's U.S. women's national team. To actually shoot a commercial that tells the world, yeah, good luck with that, as though this entire tournament was but a formality in the coronation of the odds-on favorite to win it all for the third straight year, was what caused me to finally say, okay, I'm tired of these chicks. I'm rooting against them. So now the question becomes, is it un-American to root against an American team on an international stage? Well, let's examine that. Back in 2019, the ladies were the defending World Cup champions, which came with endorsement deals, more notoriety, and all the rest of that. And hey, congratulations to the ladies. They earned their way to those endorsement deals during that World Cup run in 15. But 2019 is when the women doubled and tripled down on the hatred for the very country they were supposed to represent. It all started with Megan Rapinoe and several other players kneeling for the national anthem before the World Cup tournament. That's right, guys, you heard me correctly. Players on the U.S. women's national team knelt for the national anthem while wearing jerseys emblazoned with USA. They'd actually planned to do it throughout the entire World Cup, but the U.S. Soccer Federation demanded that they stand and, well, show a little bit of respect for the country they represent. And the crazy thing is, they were so upset about it that they actually demanded an apology and told the Federation to repeal the policy. Are you kidding me with this? U.S. Women's Soccer is an American organization with American players, has to mandate that its players actually stand for its own national anthem. Take a look at the teams from other countries, both men and women, during their respective national anthems. These people sing their anthem with pride, and a lot of them are moved to tears. Mind you, they're from countries that don't have anywhere close to the same level of opportunities, freedoms, and a slew of other advantages that separate us from the rest of the world, and they're more proud of their countries than we are of ours? And guys, we're talking about second and sometimes even third world countries who are at war or suffering from totalitarian dictatorship, non-existent economies, any number of problems that we as Americans don't even have to think about here. And those people are far more patriotic than the citizens of the greatest country in the world. The fact that we had to force American citizens to stand for our national anthem on a world stage, that just speaks to how far we've fallen as a nation. The rest of the world's teams want nothing more than to win a World Cup for their respective countries. But the U.S. women don't want to win the World Cup for America. They want to win it for themselves. The U.S. women's national team doesn't play for us. They only play for the fame, only play for the notoriety, only play for the money, and the ability to spit in the faces of an entire country that has supported them throughout their careers. Now, it is certainly well within their rights to play for whatever reason or reasons they want. It is, after all, a free country. But it is also well within our rights to root against them. It's no secret that the U.S. women's national team has pushed far-left political and social justice rhetoric over the years. Everything from Black Lives Matter to the alphabet community, the U.S. women's national team made headlines for all the wrong reasons. Then there was the pay gap scam they pulled off Title IX style. Imagine suing your boss to pay you more money using another division's revenue. Never mind that your division brings in a fraction of the revenue that the other divisions bring in. Nope. You want your pie and a slice of theirs too. How ridiculous is that? even still, they pulled it off, and now they are getting paid the same as the men's team. Now, I want you to keep in mind that the main argument the women's team made in their case against the U.S. Soccer Federation was that they win more than the men do. Now, this is a flawed argument in and of itself, but it got them the landmark decision nonetheless. Here's the thing. They didn't live up to their end of the bargain. You see, gentlemen, the men's national team was also eliminated in the round of 16 in last year's World Cup. In fact, both the men's and women's teams finished with identical records in their respectable World Cups, both winning one, losing one, and 2 draws. So, in their first international tournament they played, after having secured the bag at the expense of men, something this country regularly engages in, they fall flat on their faces. And remember, the argument was that the women won more than the men, but as soon as they got the money, they laid an egg. You factor in all of this nonsense with the backdrop of the good luck with that commercial, and you've got yourself a team that people just don't like, foreign or domestic. Here's the hard truth, guys. The U.S. women's national team hates America, and that's why I root against them. The team hates the very country that's given them the opportunity to get money, fame, and notoriety. They claim they're oppressed. Oppressed? Ladies, you wear Nike apparel made by Chinese workers, which, I would bet, are overwhelmingly women. Do you think the U.S. women's national team would trade places with those workers in China? Yeah, I didn't think so. Go live in a third world country for 2 weeks, then come back and tell the world how oppressed you are. I'll wait. Then Megan Rapinoe went even further and said, I'll probably never put my hand over my heart, and I'll probably never sing the national anthem again. So you mean we're supposed to root for a group of women who are entitled, ungrateful, and arrogant, who hate the very country that's given them the opportunity to even show civic pride on the world stage? We're supposed to watch with pride as they stand angrily in defiance of the national anthem, while other countries openly weep and think they're lucky stars they're even there? As far as I'm concerned, it's un-American to have rooted for this team. I'm glad the women got bounced, and I'm glad it hurt. What made it even sweeter was that Megan Rapinoe was called on to be the hero, and she absolutely choked by sailing a penalty kick 2 feet over the goal. To me, that was a fitting end to her career. A lot of people say that what happened to the U.S. women's national team was karma. There's no such thing as karma. There is such thing, however, as cause and effect. When you give a female team the kind of fame, money, and notoriety that they've been given over the last decade plus, there's going to be a fall off. These girls expected to just waltz in, roll out the ball, and win their 3rd World Cup in a row. They clearly didn't train properly, they looked slow, they looked out of shape, and they were never really in rhythm. This is what happens when you read your own press clippings. The women weren't as good as the media made them out to be, and for this team to be exposed the way they were is nothing short of spectacular. Who knows, maybe the men and women's team can play a friendly one of these days. I mean, Clarissa Shields thinks she can beat Keith Thurman, right? Stay tuned for that video. Thanks for